Hello everybody and welcome to another organizational video. This is a small project that I did this week and I just happened to film it and I wasn't planning on sharing it. I was actually planning on sharing this during Craftmas next month, but I thought I would share it now just to give you guys an update of what has been happening. So before I just start chit-chatting, let me share with you what I'm doing. I have these two containers that have all of my embellishments in them. So I have this container here. This is a 31 container that a good friend sent to me because it has a camera on it and I love it. And in there was some embellishments. A lot of these are Stampin' Up! Embellishments that I have gotten over the years. I will also say that this is a collection from literally the last 10 years is how long I've been accumulating this kind of stuff. And then I have another container that has some that are not in the full, like, it's not sleeves, but they're cut apart and they're organized in these little small plastic envelopes that I've cut. These are what our die cuts come in. I just cut those down and you're going to see those. And for the past 2 or 3 years, I just have not utilized this as much as I would like because it's a mess. And I needed a different container. I outgrew the original container that all these little envelopes were in. And then they just I haven't kept them organized well. I also have had, like these that I'm holding right now, I've had these on hand because I've done giveaways or different events that I've done. I've liked to have things like this on hand. And just as things have shifted and things are a little bit different with the way I'm doing them, I just have wanted to get this organized better. So that is what I'm doing now. I realized that maybe these will fit instead of doing them I like the other direction where there was wasted space at one end, that maybe these envelopes would fit long ways in this container, and they do, which is really amazing. So what I end up deciding to do is just dump everything out and then have these envelopes. Again, these are what Stampin' Up! Dies come in. So if you get the Stampin' Up! Dies, this is what I use. I use these envelopes all over my office for different things, and I just cut these down. And later on in the video, I will show you how I end up cutting these down. At this point, I really wasn't sure. Well, at this point, I'm starting to figure out what I think is going to work. I will also get my label maker out and I will label these envelopes. And then I end up having, well, you'll see at the end what I end up doing because I have some overflow that doesn't fit in this container. But this container is much better than what I was using. I can put these envelope pieces in here long ways, and then I'm going to be able to get a lot more in them. So I ended up cutting up, I don't know, like maybe 10 or 15 more. So we'll just dump all of this out. I know the lighting is coming through and I will fix that in just a minute. It gets really bright as the sun was just peeking out behind clouds, and I had my office opened up, the blinds and stuff, so I'll fix the light in just a second. So the reason that I decided to share this week is because I have not had a lot of content up. You can see with the envelopes, I round the corners with my corner chomper just so that they're not like dangerous, like so they don't like poke me, because that envelope material is really strong. So I haven't had a lot of content up this week because Andrew got a stomach bug at the beginning of the week. Actually, last Thursday, he came home from school not feeling great, and we kept him home on Friday, and I thought maybe it had passed over the weekend. But by Sunday, it was a full-blown stomach bug, and that is the worst when you have that happening. And of course, you're not only worried about the kid and what's happening, but then I was just certain that we were all going to get it. And so we were doing laundry, and I was cleaning and taking care of a kid that was throwing up. And so he's on the tail end of it. It did have to go to the emergency room We took him on Wednesday night because I just started to get concerned. The doctor said it was a stomach bug. It's going around. It lasts 7 to 10 days, and he was on the tail end of it. So because of that, I have just been exhausted and not in my office. In fact, today, when I'm going to post this video, is the first time I've been in my office really all week. So that's been my week. So I did this project here this week. I think I spent a couple hours on it on Monday. He wasn't as severe on Monday. And then I wrapped up the last piece of it yesterday. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to share it, update you on what's happening, and just share this little project. This organizational project made a huge difference in my ability to be able to use all of these things. So that is one thing that I want to share when I am sharing organizational videos with you. Yes, I love to organize. It just happens to be something that I love to do. I'm really good at it. I enjoy it. My favorite part of an organizational project, any project at all, is right now. Like, as you see there, it is a mess. Like, everything is everywhere. I don't know which containers are going to work. I don't have a real clear idea of how everything's going to come together. And the chaos, the height of the chaos, is my favorite part of an organizational project. I love trying to figure things out, figure out what will work best, how I'm going to use these things. And that is one of the things that I'm thinking about. How am I going to be able to use whatever I'm organizing? How am I going to be able to use it better? How am I going to be able to access it in a way that I can utilize whatever it is? For this project, it's these embellishments. I have really avoided using these embellishments because they're such a mess, and I haven't known what I have or what is what. And so I've avoided using them, and I'll just get a new pack of rhinestones instead of looking for the rhinestones I already have. And that's becoming, well, it has always been, but it's ridiculous to do that. When I have so much, I want to use what I have. And I love utilizing what I have. It is so fun to see a sheet of embellishments get all used. So that's the space that I'm at. With these items that you see in my hand, I was going to pull them apart and put them in something else, but I realized they had adhesive on the back, and so it makes more sense to keep them on the backing and not take them off and then be sticky and stick everywhere and then end up losing them. So that's what I'm doing with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up breaking these up into categories. So like those floral embellishments, these right here are a specialty item. They came from like a tool kit like line where it was like hammers and screwdrivers, and they look like the top of like a screw. So that it's a specialty item. So I'll have one container that is specialty, and then what I will do is break all of these up. I'm going to do color. So I'll have a section that is just color, red, you know, the rainbow order. It won't really matter. You can't really see the fun rainbow effect, but I'll break them up: red, orange, yellow, green, pinks, blues, purples. I will have one for gold. I'll have one for silver. I will have one for metallic. And then I will also have one that is sequence. For instance, I have some that are like sequence and they have adhesive on the back. I'll put all of those in one container. And then I have some other, I think that, iridescent is another category. Rhinestones, pearls. I'll do stars and hearts. So really that is the way that I think about my product. Is if I need something gold, I'm going to reach for the gold. If I need something red, I want to reach for the red. If I'm looking for hearts, I want all of the hearts in one container. So here you can just see that I have turned on my lights. I am putting something on my TV, and I am just going to go to town organizing these. I'm going to strip off the packaging. So you're going to see that I'm going to cut some stuff up. I'm going to take off the clear packaging, and then I'm going to start to get all of this organized. Okay, so here is a perfect example of what I put in the specialty category. These are butterflies, and I only have this one sheet or this one type of embellishment, so I put it with the specialty items. The other thing that you see me doing is cutting down the extra packaging. So I cut down the back part, which is like that cardstock stuff, you know, like the backing of the package, and then also the plastic part. And then I just staple the plastic part to the cardboard backing so that there's a white backing. I do prefer to have them with a white backing. I feel like it's easier to pull them out of the like these little envelopes if I'm looking for something specific, but I also don't need all of that bulk on all of them. I also try to cut out like where the name of the product will still be, like this one right here. I'm going to cut right down the middle because it's still going to allow the very back of the packaging to say what it is. So most of my stuff is from Stampin' Up, and obviously that is a situation where things retire and you can't get them. So there's lots of embellishments in this, like these right here, that I can't necessarily get again, but I do want to see what it is in case I'm looking, or if I'm still in that particular season with that particular catalog. If I want to see that I want to order something else, I would like to be able to see the name of it, but it's not necessarily the most important thing to me. If knowing what your product is more important to you, you're going to want to make sure that you take that into consideration when you're organizing it. Also, them being in the original packaging or on that original cardboard piece, you can see that I cut some of that up. So I've cut some of them apart. Like I knew I just wanted that one little piece had some blue and then some purple on it. So I thought, well, it'll be easier to cut those apart and then organize them by color instead of by type. So there's a couple different ways you could organize your embellishments. You can do them by type, you can do them by color, or you could do them by brand if you're getting lots of different brands of embellishments. I'm pretty simple when it comes to the embellishments that I like to use. I really like using enamel dots, rhinestones, or pearls, and then maybe some specialty like those butterflies, or I have some gold ones that are these like really chunky jewel type, and they're gold, and I use them mostly during the holidays. So you definitely want to take into consideration what it is you like using, and then the way in which you use it. And then that will help you with the way you're organizing items. The next thing I'm going to grab is some more envelopes. So you can see that I have those here. These are the plastic envelopes that you get dies in, and I grabbed some more of those. I'm going to start throwing away some of the trash from where I've trimmed things down, and then I'm also going to grab my label maker. So to trim these down, I just wanted to see what the other size of these envelopes that I had already done. They are 3.5, and I think that I had done that before the design of the envelopes changed. I think I had cut them right down where the split for the flap was. On these, they're a little bit different. So I'm going to cut a 3.5. I just use my regular trimmer. I just cut it a couple times, and then the very edges, I just pull it apart. Sometimes you have to snip it, like right here, I just snipped it. But really, they're super easy, and your trimmer will cut them. So I cut down a bunch of these. I also, again, I'm going to corner around them so that those corners aren't really sharp and they don't, you know, stab me or anything. And then I will label them. So I just grabbed my label maker, and I'm not making it really fancy at all. Again, I just did really simple categories. I did one that it had all the colors, and then types. So really the way that I organize mine are by both type and color. And that is the way that I use them, is sometimes I need a type, I need a heart, or I need a star. And other times I'm looking for a specific color. So I did end up cutting more down later on. I ended up cutting a lot down. And then I have the corner chomper. This is a corner rounder that can cut through a lot of different things. I don't know if you have a regular corner rounder. I don't know that I would attempt to do this with the plastic, but the corner chomper will work just fine. So I have those, and then I will add them here. And you can see as you add more and as this is filling up, they don't fall down or tip over. They're gonna stay there. I will also eventually take out the packaging in the back of the full packages. I will end up taking that out because this ends up getting really full. Okay, so I've shared my favorite part of an organizational project. Now, here is my least favorite part of the organizational project. It is when I have a clear understanding of what I want to do and how I want things to look, and then I have to make that happen. It is a very tedious project. Or a very tedious process, I should say, once you get to this point where you're like, okay, I know what to do. I know how I want everything. Now let's do it. So here I've made my labels. Some of this I'm cutting apart. Some of it I'm keeping together. And then I'm just filtering it into the different spaces and then putting my labels on. At first, I thought I would like rotate my labels. Like I would put one label on the left side and then the next container back I'd put it on the right side, and then I would go back and forth thinking that it would be easier to see. But then what I realized is I started moving envelopes around. Like I wanted in the beginning, I wanted all of my specialty at the front, and then I wanted rhinestones and pearls and stars and hearts, and then I wanted the color organization or containers towards the back, and then I had put all the enamel dots and colored rhinestones towards the back next to the unopened packages or the full packaging, and then I ended up taking that out. So I realized as I was going to start moving things around, it really wasn't going to matter where the labels were. It just needed to be labeled. So the next thing, I think this is the very next day because the lighting is different again, but I put all of the full packaging pieces into that gray container. This is starting to get really full, and then I've also labeled all my pieces. So there's red, yellow, orange, green, and so on. I have a couple that are really full, like the blue is really full. The green will end up being really full, and I'll talk about that at the very end. You'll see that. So I definitely have some colors that I have more of than others, which I'm just finding is true in my craft room, in my crafting. Like I have a lot of yellow washi tape. I have a lot of yellow embellishments. Clearly yellow is a color I like. I don't feel like I do very many projects with yellow, but I can see that from the product that I buy and that I gravitate towards, the colors that I definitely like more of. So that also is interesting. And I'm labeling items. I did a neutral like label and container. I ended up not using that. I just didn't have very much neutral items. I also have some gold embellishments that are in my Christmas items, and that is true. I feel like Christmas is the only like topic in my craft room that is a little bit different with organizing. Like I have some red and green and gold ribbon in my Christmas stuff, and so the ribbon isn't organized with all the rest of my ribbon. And then same thing with some embellishments. I have some gold, red, and green embellishments, and I think I even have silver that I store in my Christmas stuff because I specifically like using that stuff during Christmas. So there is some stuff that is set aside for that. And then you can see I'm just adding those labels. I didn't even really make sure that my labels were cut super straight. These are labels that really nobody's gonna see. So because of the way these are in this container, they're not on display. So making the labels perfect became not a priority for me. It really was just about getting all of this organized. And the other thing that I will say, and this is a little bit wasteful for sure, what I'm about to say, some of those on my desk, you can see some of those strips of embellishment, like there's some red and clear ones where I don't know why I did that. I cannot remember why I had some that were cut into strips like that. Maybe it was for a class or for an event. I'm really not sure. Some of those got thrown away. At some point at the very end of the process of filtering all of this stuff in, it became less important that I kept every single thing and more important what I would reach for and use. And what I was feeling, or what I was realizing, is that I probably was not going to reach for those strips of embellishments in these containers, that I would probably get annoyed with them being in strips or falling to the very bottom. Now, that's not to say that I didn't keep some of the items that were on strips like that, but there were definitely some that I let go. And I know that can be another pain point when you're organizing items, is feeling like you come across something and you're like, how do I organize this? How do I want to make this work? And there's this part of you that is like, you just want to get rid of it, but you feel guilty, right? We've purchased these items. We've bought these items. It's the same thing with paper. I get this question all the time when I share organizational videos regarding paper. And do you keep everything? And I get comments about I throw paper away, and I don't keep every scrap that I end up with. And my best advice, or what I do, or what I feel best about, is if I am not going to use it, I'm going to get rid of it. Sometimes that means donating it. I do a lot of donations to the elementary school my kids go to, and I will continue to donate to them. This is Andrew's last year at the elementary school. We've been there for 12 years with all of our kids, and I have a great relationship with that school, and I will continue to donate to that school my supplies. They love it when I donate because they know my supplies are really high quality, and so they love it when I come in with donations. And so if you can find a school to donate stuff to, that's always a great option. Even if you don't have kids that go to that school, I promise you that the school will appreciate the donation. So I will donate what I can, but I also am not opposed to just throwing things away that I'm not going to use. So there were definitely smaller strips that I kept, but at the end of the project, when I knew I wasn't going to reach for something, or it was going to be more of a hassle to get something out, I definitely just let go of it and I threw it away. So I don't think that there needs to be guilt in that. If you can't donate these little tiny strips, like, they're annoying. That a couple of them were discolored because I've had them for so long. The clear turned yellow. Some of my rhinestones turned yellow, and I actually kept some of my rhinestones that were a little bit discolored. So I just want to share. I just want to offer that I don't think it's wrong to throw things away or to get rid of things. When it comes to paper, I definitely toss things and I don't keep every scrap. And I always want there to be room to grow. There's definitely not a lot of room to grow in my embellishments because I haven't been using them the way I would like to use them. So my hope is, as they're organized better, I will use them more and I will use them in a better way. So here are just another envelope I'm filtering in. I did keep, there's a small item in my embellishment container that is like it's a Stampin' Up! Item from 20 years ago, and it is a stitching template. That's the best way to put it, a template. And I kept it in my embellishment container because it just fits right there, and that's where I think of using it. You can see it, it's right in the side there. It's a piercing mat and then the template, and you use a piercer and you pierce holes and you can use that. That's just, it's always been in my embellishments, and it's the easiest place for me, and it's where I think of it. When I think about using it, it's where I go to grab it. I also had some embellishments that I think I got from Studio Calico or Ali Edwards years ago that were really inexpensive, and I kept all those together. Even though they're multiple colors, I just kept those together and I use them for very specific things, and so I know having them all together will totally work. So here is my green container, and it is overflowing. It's very bulky. I will space those out in a little bit. I will dump them out and kind of space them out in the container and stack them a little bit better. You can see that envelope is so blown out. It definitely needs just to be restacked and kind of organized. I didn't like the embellishment sticking up out of the container. That bothered me, and so I just stacked them a little bit differently, and it ends up working. So I'm getting ready to wrap up this project. We're right at the end of it. I just have a few random embellishments here. You can see that I'm sorting them, going through. You can see that pile of strips that I was talking about. There were definitely some of that got tossed. And then I also had a container for clear. That was another container that I ended up adding at the very end, was for clear items. The one with the geotags I ended up putting in my specialty. And here in just a second, I will jump in and share with you the way this project ended up coming out and how I ended up putting everything together. And I think that will be helpful to see. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing this. Please let me know in the comments below. What is something that you struggle with organizing? Is organizing hard for you? Is it easy for you? Do you enjoy doing it? I have friends that absolutely hate doing it, that always call on me, and I'm always happy to jump in and help them. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of it, and let's jump into seeing how the final project ended up turning out. All right, let me wrap up this video. It did take me a couple hours, and you will probably hear my printer printing in the background because I'm printing some stuff. This is something that I have wanted to do for a really long time, as I've probably mentioned, and it did feel really overwhelming, but I can already tell, having done this, that I'm going to be able to utilize this a lot better. So it fills up this whole container. In fact, I had to take a few things out of this and put it in here to make everything fit in here. So what became important to me for this container is that it was organized by color and like by type. So like gold, pearls, rhinestones, colored rhinestones, and then the majority of this is by color here in the very middle of it. So I've labeled all of them. So just with my label maker, I've labeled all of them. And then what is in here are the ones that are brand new. I originally had thought I might open these up and then break them up by color, because that's really how my brain works when I'm creating. If you know, my color scheme is blue, then I want something blue. However, this is really full, and there are several categories that have a lot. My blues, the greens have a lot, the yellows. And I thought the other thing that I could do is I could have like 2 little containers for blue. So I could have had, you know, multiple, I guess this one's not labeled. Or did the label come off? Okay, so I need to label the blue one. I could have had a couple containers for one color, but as you can see, this is really full. So I just didn't think that that was gonna work. And then there's some other categories that I don't have a lot of. Like, I don't have a lot of pink. I don't have a lot of purple. But this is gonna work so that I can grab what I need and actually use this. This is a ridiculous amount of embellishments, and I want to work through what I have and use what I have. So in this one, I decided to keep all of the ones that weren't open, and even these that are, instead of cutting them up and putting them in color, I just decided to put in here. I have an ink pad stuck in here because this is just a ink pad. This is a duplicate, and it's close to my heart. I didn't purchase it. It was like gifted to me. So I just don't know what to do with it, but it's a duplicate color. Next in here, I have a couple things that I went ahead and I put in this container so that everything would fit in here. So I have the ones that are on full sheets. And then I have the specialty, which is like stars, butterflies. Well, it's not stars, but like, this is like, it was from a like home improvement type of set. Like there's screw tops, that kind of thing. And then there's like a couple floral pieces in here. There's the butterflies, like these flat floral sequins. So I have that in here. I also have a couple of these. These are like, this is loose glitter. This is like bracket type things. And then this is actually, the sequence can go in my sequence container. It doesn't need to be in here. So I have the specialty one, and then I did all of these that are the same. They're the same brand, and they're multiple of the same sheet. I just got them really inexpensive. I think like when I got these like 10 years ago, I got them from Studio Calico, and they were like 10 cents a thing, and I got a whole bunch of them. So I put all of those in there. I have these in here, which are like flat, kind of like flares. I have a couple things of doilies that I went ahead and put in here. These are just ones that are cut up. And then I have a bunch of red and green that literally, it won't fit in my red and green in here. It's like I just have a multitude of this one sheet. Again, it was probably like a really good deal, and I thought I needed 100 of them. So that is what is in here, along with these couple things. And then this will go back on my sheet. Or I'm sorry, back on my shelf in those same areas. And then I'll probably label this, you know, embellishments. And then I say I'm not planning on purchasing anymore, but y'all know with the crafty goodness, we all have to purchase all the things all the time. I haven't really been purchasing a lot of these embellishments unless there's just one that I really love. Like I really loved these. I have several sheets of these. I really loved these. The colors, they were so beautiful. And then also these, I actually accidentally ordered too many for my paper party. And so I have like 5 sheets of these, which is fine. I'll start working through those. But that is that little quick organizational project. It took me a couple hours. I did it over 2 days because I did it in the middle of the week that Andrew, I'm probably going to share this next week. And if you follow me on Facebook or I posted here on YouTube, Andrew got sick. He was we had to take him to the emergency room. It was a whole thing. It basically derailed my entire week. So I started this and then I finished it the next day, but I'm really happy with it. And I feel like with any organizational project that I'm doing, the entire point of it is not only to make it look pretty, but so that I can utilize the things that I have. And I really hesitated a lot over the last couple years reaching for these items because not only were they in several different parts of my room, but they were also so unorganized that I didn't like gravitate to grabbing them. And so then I was finding I was using a lot of sequins because all my sequins are very organized. They're organized by color, by type. I know what to do. I know how to grab them and get to them. So I wanted the same thing for these. So thank you for joining me for this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing it. Hopefully I'm already back to regular content by the time you're seeing this, and I will catch you in my next video. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. Here are 2 other videos that you can check out if you would like. I would love for you to hit that like button so YouTube is kind to me. And if you would like, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I apologize, it was a little bit all over the place, but hopefully you got a little something out of it, and I will catch you in my next video.